Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable.
Asia's largest end-to-end logistics and supply chain conference returned for its 11th edition. Maintaining its decade-long tradition, the conference yet again proved to be a platform for entrepreneurs in the supply chain sector to discuss the challenges emerging due to changing landscape of the industry.
My name is Kavya R. Chavali, and I'm truly delighted to join you all during the 2 days of these fantastic proceedings here of the conference. So it's time to get some wonderful insights from our speakers, but before we do that, I'd also like to invite the following dignitaries to please step forward for the lighting of the lamp. Let's get this event started on a very auspicious note. So I'm going to request Mr. Matthew Quinn, Country General Manager, Shep India Private Limited, to please step forward. Mr. Crispin Mayer, Director and Co-founder, Crimson & Co., Mr. Harish Bhatia, Founder, Director and CEO of Kamikaze B2B Media. And may I also invite Mr. Vishal Dhawan, Vice President Sales, India and Southeast Asia of JDA Software, to kindly step forward for the lighting of the lamp. But we'd love to begin every event right here in our country on a very auspicious note to discard the darkness of the unknown and welcome the light of knowledge. So let's have a huge round of applause there as we formally get started with the proceedings here at the 11th Express Logistics and Supply Chain Conclave 2017.
Top management from eminent supply chain firms gathered under one roof and discussed the topics that highlighted the need to constantly innovate, ideate, and digitize to build a customer-centric business model. The discussions took place in various formats, including keynote speeches and panel discussions by prominent players in the industry. Experts from leading global supply chain consultancies were also invited to share their insights on the incentives of digitization for growth and sustainability.
Digitalization means different things to different stakeholders. So to sourcing and procurement folk, it means more about e-procurement, reverse auctions, digital payments. But for planning people, it's more about the focus on advanced planning systems. It's about greater visibility to see and understand actual events as they happen, and to convert that into scenario-based planning so they've got an awareness of how to make better decisions and put more contingency plans in place. And we've also got the advent of increased use of robotics, handheld terminals, voice technology, smart automated guided vehicles, etc., which is changing the ways that DCs function. Sometimes reducing labor, not always, but generally trying to keep pace with the growth in e-commerce. Then for the distribution planners, well, they're more interested in the real-time monitoring of trucks, smart roads that tell us where congestion's happening and how the weather is changing out there. And all these systems are obviously starting to merge as well. So the Internet of Things is beginning to link with phone apps and ERP systems so that people can actually plan and make decisions wherever they are.
The conference witnessed panel discussions among leaders in the supply chain industry who brainstormed newer strategies to attain a flawless, customer-centric model while remaining competitive.
If you recall, it all started maybe at the time of recession when the mobility boom took place. Now we have the world in our palms. Today, if you want a product, comparing the product, selecting the range of products without having to physically visit a store, all that has changed the perspective of the customer. And the customer has become much more demanding, and he does not demand the product, he demands an experience with the product.
Being the first retail company in the sector which adhered to the customer-first motto extensively, Shoppers Stop emphasized on the need to be accessible to the customers and build a long-lasting relationship with them.
See, one thing is very clear that first-class products and brand power no longer guarantee success in the battle for higher market share. It is very important to get closer to the customer, You need to exactly know what they want it, when they want it, where they want it, at what price they want it.
Customer centricity is taken very seriously in all the organization, and so is ours. And in the case of Mahindra and Mahindra Automotive Division, we have 6 manufacturing plants, and we have more than 450 suppliers and more than 300 dealers spread across the country. In addition, we have a lot of aggregates moving in from our different plant to the manufacturing, vehicle manufacturing plant in terms of engine, axles, transmissions. So it becomes very critical of how we integrate the customer demand into our back-end system, and then how our ability to fulfill.
The opportunities being opened up by GST, the digitalization that is being embraced by the Indian markets, I see those as unique opportunities that's going to drive commerce. And when business and commerce is driven, you see an uptake in supply chain.
We'll see a level of standardization taking place. We'll see a level of mechanization taking place. We'll see increasing automation taking place. And then we'll see innovation taking place within the supply chain like we've never seen before, in order to be able to meet that challenge of cost efficiency, agility to meet demand, and the sustainability challenges we're faced with.
All the time we're trying to be in the front of the customer, especially to understand his issues, understand improvements required, resolve issues as and when they happen, so that loyalty, real-time problem solving is all sort of addressed on a continuous basis.
Some of the challenges that prevent India's emergence as a leader, or a sort of a unanimous declaration as a leader, is obviously adequate infrastructure, infrastructure in terms of transport, infrastructure also in terms of communication, and a lot of lack of awareness about the various government policies and initiatives, particularly how they play into executing a particular supply chain strategy.
What is important today is, customer expectation in terms of, visibility they want to be created whenever you are actually, getting, kind of a discussion with customer, getting engaged with customer in terms of, providing services. What exactly he needs is that overall visibility, seamless visibility, and also kind of, integration through a system, which is at this point of time is a challenging for this industry.
Coming up right after a short break, industry leaders share their insights on the secret to rise in the supply chain industry. Stay tuned. The Express Supply Chain and Logistics Conference in its 11th edition began with keynote speeches by leading experts who emphasized on digitization. Global supply chain firms who participated in the discussions also stressed on the need to be agile and flexible to reach the set benchmark. The diverse panels shared their insights on the secret to rise in the supply chain industry.
See, when we go for our annual goal setting process, we look at individual functions. Let's talk about supply chain. How much cost reduction can take place? The first KRA is cost reduction. If you go to someone, I think someone is from ACC, then if someone sets the goal for packing plant executive, they will be asking that how much cost you can reduce per metric ton of evacuation. Similarly, there must be other commodities as well. The issue is, the more unless you treat it as a profit center and you keep on cutting the cost, I think the loss in contribution will be much higher, and you will be compromising your substantial agility in the process.
Today, what is very important is the data. And today, most of the decisions are actually not taken by people. Most of the decisions are taken by data. So we are all today really driven by data, because that is what really helps us gain insights as to how our business is progressing over the last few quarters or few years. We are a global organization, and while we were actually just starting our budgeting process about just 2-3 days back, and we went actually into the data and we said, there are a lot of business which is actually right now going into countries like Chile and Peru. We had never thought about this before. But then when we actually looked at the combined data of the organization, we saw that, okay, there is a business opportunity here.
Logistics is a journey, it's not an end goal. So having done it once,
what was delight initially would become hygiene later on. So you have to keep on upping the ante. You have to look at how you can reduce your cost or make it more efficient than yesterday, and also make the quality higher.
With the advent of GST, there's definitely the back end, at least the IT part of the supply chain is going to get integrated. Right from first mile to the last mile, everyone is actually going to be connected on the tax platform. So that gives us a chance to now push it through to have an actual connectivity at the physical level also.
We need to empower our manpower. We need to empower the human element in supply chain. To make technology imperative is very important to empower our human element. How to empower the human element? We need to empower them with the technology. We need to empower them with the innovation culture.
The conclave also ensured a platform for logistics providers to showcase their products in an exhibition. Leading supply chain companies like CHEP, Spot On and FSC were participants in this display.
With respect to the innovations, which is actually the order of the day, so any company has to really move up in the ladder, had to be following the innovations. At ProConnect, we certainly follow a lot of innovations. Examples are ePOD for all the deliveries online, messages that are captured. We capture the entire route through the GPS tracking. So all our customers today, there are about 150 customers. All of them are fed with these details in the ERP directly through our innovation process.
I'm in no doubt that digitalisation will have a major role to play in the development of supply chains over the next 10 years. We're already seeing that at the front end, where the consumer link back into the demand process of the company are becoming highly integrated and highly advanced. What we also find across the world is that supply chain processes in the back end of the supply chain are competent at best, and therefore it's very important that business focus on getting the basics right.
We are adapting our business model to suit this customer-centric need of the customer. For example, when seasonality is there, probably you require more material handling equipment inside the warehouse, but for a very, very short period of time. So we tend to provide those solutions as a separate sort of a menu item, rather than only talking about the long-term rental of the MHEs, which basically is our primary business.
I'm happy to be a part of the Elsc, which is a great platform to really exchange your views and collaborate. It's very, very good for the supply chain professionals. We are in a very interesting journey post GST, which is full of challenges and full of opportunities. I think this is a time we need to really strengthen our partnership with our customers, redesign our supply chain network to optimize it, and really provide value to the end customers.
Coming up, the most awaited moment of the Supply Chain Conclave, the Supply Chain Awards. Stay tuned. Of the conference soon arrived with the Supply Chain and Logistics Awards. Renowned names and companies in the industry who excelled in the past 1 year were felicitated.
All right, so first up, let's get started with retail and invite Shopper Stop Limited, Mr. Devdas Nair, Customer Care Associate and Head Supply Chain and Mission Control. Congratulations. Moving on to Industry Excellence in Supply Chain in Oil and Gas. Let's find out the winner.
It's Indian Oil Corporation Limited.
Our next category, in fact, is the Best in-Class Supply Chain Innovation.
The next winner is RCPL Logistics Private Limited.
Let's go ahead and announce our next category for the evening, which is Supply Chain People Development Award.
Indus Towers Limited.
Well, moving on, our next category is Best in Class Supply Chain Solutions.
The winner is Shep India Private Limited.
Well, I like the sound of our next category. It says, Technically Sound 3PL Company of the Year.
ProConnect Supply Chain Solutions.
Our next category for the evening, Customer Intimacy and Service Excellence Company of the Year.
The first winner is Innovative Logistics Service Private Limited. The second winner is Spot On Logistics.
All right, so our next category, Best Supply Chain Operational Innovation of the Year.
And the award goes to Apollo Logi Solutions.
Marching ahead to our next category as well, Best Logistics and Supply Chain Security Solutions.
The winner is Unisto.
Up next is the Best 3PL Company of the Year overall.
Joint winners. The first one is Safe Express Private Limited.
And the second winner is Future Supply Chain Solutions.
So what's our next category for the evening? This is Supply Chain Company of the Year.
TCI Supply Chain Solutions.
Well, up next, Diversified Logistics Company of the Year.
TVS Logistics Services Limited.
Ladies and gentlemen, our final award for the evening is the Lifetime Achievement Award.
Mr. Jay Kumar, R. Jay Kumar, Chairman and Managing Director, JM Logistics Private Limited.
Essentially what we're trying to do is make our organizations agile so that we can meet the changing needs of the consumers, of the manufacturers, etc. What's really important for the India Inc. to do is digitalization of the supply chain needs to be a boardroom agenda topic, right? This is something that can help companies drive profitability. It helps companies address consumer demand in a better way.
We in this 11th edition are trying to cover a subject which has never been covered before, digitization of supply chain. That's the future. Everything is going to be digitized, right from manufacturing to purchasing to supply chain. Millennials are the ones who are going to drive this ahead. They are technologically oriented. They are the ones with younger mindsets, younger legs, with a new perspective, which are going to drive supply chain ahead in the world of digitization.
Focus, ideate, innovate, enable.